In this video, we will share with you the following topics. Things to know before you go to Rome. What you must know before visiting Rome, Italy. Do's and don'ts in Rome. Tourist traps and scams in Rome. Rome. What you must know before visiting. And visiting Rome on a budget. Rome was called the Eternal City by the ancient Romans, because they believed that no matter what happened in the rest of the world, the city of Rome would always remain standing. Exploring the city center, by foot surrounded by glorious monuments and colossal remains, takes you back in time to the glory that was Rome. How did Rome take over Italy? Roman hegemony. During 284 to 280 BC, the Romans fought a war against the Etruscans and Gauls in northern Italy. After first being defeated at the Battle of Aretium, Rome won a decisive victory against the Gauls at the Battle of Lake Vardamo, leading to the Roman annexation of the Ager Gallicus. Why visit Rome? With its unparalleled history, Rome is the third most visited city in Europe and the 14th worldwide. It attracts visitors from all over the world, who are impatient to discover the city's impressive monuments and archaeological sites, not to mention its renowned cuisine and its lively atmosphere. When exploring the Colosseum, visitors will easily imagine how the gladiators fought for their life in the arena, cheered by the crowd. In the Circus Maximus, travelers will picture the chariots crashing into each other in order to be first in the race, and in the Roman Forum visualize what the Roman public life was like. Is Rome, Italy safe for tourists? Overall, Rome is considered a safe city to travel to, but petty crime, especially bag snatching and pickpocketing, remains a problem. As for public transportation, stay alert when taking buses, trains, or other forms of shared transit in crowded city center areas, especially in and around Termini station. What should you not miss in Rome, Italy? 12 things you can't miss in Rome. 1. The Colosseum. A truly epic monument to the gladiatorial battles of old, the Colosseum dates back to 72 AD. 2. The Pantheon. Constructed by the Emperor Hadrian from 119 to 128 AD, the Pantheon is an architectural marvel. 3. The Capitoline. The Capitoline museums are housed in twin palaces and constitute the oldest public art display in the world. 4. Villa Borghese Gardens. With all of the excitement in the city, taking a break every now and then for a relaxing stroll can be a blessing. In the gardens, children and adults alike can walk, ride ponies, and feed the many turtles that can be found in the pond. 5. Trevi Fountain. Whether admiring the beauty of the fountain or tossing a coin in while making a wish, everyone can find something to enjoy at the Trevi Fountain. 6. Roman Forum. If you enjoy the Colosseum, the Roman Forum is a must. Located at the center of the city, the Forum contains many of Rome's ancient government buildings and temples. 7. La Boca De La Verrita. In English, the Mouth of Truth, this landmark is located outside of the Church of Santa Maria. Legend says that a liar will have their hand bitten off when they insert it in the mouth, a myth that is put to the test in the iconic film, Roman Holiday. 8. Illinois Gelato di San Crispino. Enjoying gelato is an essential part of any trip to Rome. Many agree that the best gelato in the city can be found at Illinois Gelato di San Crispino. The flavors change with the seasons, ensuring every visitor has a taste of the new and delicious. 9. Via Condotti. One of the most famous shopping streets in Rome, the Via Condotti contains numerous historical buildings and boutiques. You can start at the renowned Spanish Steps and continue down the street browsing and enjoying the hustle and bustle. 10. Ponte Sant'Angelo. This beautiful bridge spanning the Tiber, adorned with 10 picturesque angels designed by Bernini, not only provides the tourists with a breathtaking view of the city and water, but with a wonderful testament to the last work of a truly remarkable artist. 11. Campo de Fieri. The oldest market in all of Rome, the Campo de Fieri is full of flowers, vegetables, and fruits during the day, and a lively restaurant and bar atmosphere at night. 12. Piazza Navona. The home of Bernini's Fountain of the Four Rivers, is a beautiful place to enjoy a lovely meal and delicious tartufo ice cream. Under the historical buildings lies the Circus Domitianus, in which were held the amazing ancient Roman races. The piazza is also a wonderful location to people watch.
Tourist traps and scams in Rome. 1. People try to hand you things, or force you to take these things essentially. People will hand you bracelets, or they'll nicely put the bracelet on your wrist, and start a very polite conversation. Then, they will start asking you for donations, and if you don't give them the money, they can become quite hostile. 2. Friendly drivers asking for gas money. This scenario usually begins with you crossing paths with a gentleman, who looks confused, saying he's from out of town, and figuring out where he is. If you get acquainted, he will claim to be working for a big brand Italian designer company, and show you some of the samples in his car. He will then hand you a watch, suede jacket, or bag as a gift. Because you have just become friends? Next, his fuel gauge is near empty, and he ran out of cash, asking if you could spare some in return, more than the real value of those knockoff items. 3. Do not take pictures with the Roman gladiators around Roman Coliseum. They are very aggressive in their tactics. They will quickly take your phone, and stand next to you. Then another guy is taking the pictures with your phone, and demands money before you can get your phone back. 4. Fake charity petitions. When walking down a bustling Roman street near a famous site, you might be approached by a deaf and mute person, with a seemingly legit charity petition to sign. He or she then asks for a generous donation. In worst cases, they work together with their pickpocketing friends in crowded places. 5. Fake polizia. These fraudsters sometimes pose as plainclothes police officers, most of the time in uniform. They also usually work in pairs for that extra effect, when they come up to you for an impromptu security check. They will ask you to open your bag, and ultimately your passport and wallet, either for personal info, or just a few of your euro bills. How to avoid: never hand over your belongings in public. Ask to be checked at the nearest police station. 6. Hakuna Matata and friendship bracelets. Fun and chatty with a thick African accent, a guy says hi, and either places a colorful thread on your shoulder, or forces a small souvenir of some sort in your hand, insisting that it's a gift. If you don't assertively refuse after a few attempts, more friendly chatter ensues while swiftly showing you how a friendship bracelet is made, right on your wrist. They then claim to be out of cash, and ask you for a generous price in return for the gift. It's a slight hassle to take off. Sometimes, it's also another form of distraction, for accomplices targeting your back pockets. How to avoid: simply refuse, say no thanks up front, and don't let them hand you anything. Shrug off anything placed on your shoulder. 7. Taxi scams. Taxi fares are normally clearly shown on the side of taxis, inclusive of luggage, and all extra charges. But unscrupulous drivers, especially at airports and train stations, may try to milk out more euros from travel-worn passengers whenever they can. Tricks range from giving back the wrong amount of change, to meters fetched, to pricier weekend rates for weekday rides. How to avoid: have small cash ready for the fare. Only take the official white Roma Capitale taxis. Rather than flagging one down, find a taxi stand available at most of the popular sites, such as near the Trevi Fountain, or the Colosseum, one of the points of greatest interest, and with a very particular hotel offering. Also, ask about the different meter readings if they confuse you. 8. Overpriced, underflavored, touristy restaurants. Like in any part of the world, almost every restaurant, or cafe near Rome's major tourist sites are touristy, with a tendency of being overpriced. Walk a slight distance away, and you will find humble, and homey, sometimes unnamed, local spots with cheaper, and well-seasoned menu items. In any case, your bill should be itemized, and in the event of suspicious overcharging, or showing items that you never ordered, you can politely ask them to fix it. 9. Bus 64, the Pickpocket Express. Despite servicing one of the most useful routes within the city center, many wallets have disappeared from visitors' pockets on this bus ride. It shuttles regularly between St. Peter's Square and Termini Station, with frequent stops in between. Throngs get on at each stop, and it's easy to lose sight and sense of your belongings in a cramped-up situation. Getting off is the tricky part. Scuffling helps disguise any swift acts of thievery faster than you can say, "Arrivederci." How to avoid: wear a money belt instead, and carry less loose belongings with you. The tourist-friendly hop-on hop-off sightseeing buses are a safer, but more expensive, alternate.
What is the best area to stay in Rome, Italy? Trastevere. What is the best neighborhood in Rome overall? Trastevere is my favorite area to stay in, and the best overall in the city. Can you do Rome in 3 days? You could easily spend much more than 3 days in Rome, but if you are tight on time, it helps to have a plan in place before you go. Day 3 is a day-long stroll through the heart of Rome, visiting sites such as the Spanish Steps, the Pantheon, Piazza Navona, Lago di Torre Argentina, and the Trevi Fountain. How do you dress in Rome? It's fine to wear casual clothes, such as khakis, jeans, tennis shoes, and sandals to many restaurants in Rome. But remember that in Italy, modesty is key. You won't find Romans dining in shorts and tank tops, so keep this in mind for going out to eat, and again, for visiting the sites. Rome, Italy's capital, like pretty much every major city in the world, has a strong side hustle when it comes to tourists. Some of the scammers are after easy money from people they think are easy targets, while others are genuinely struggling and are just trying to feed their families. Roses, bracelets, and beautiful things. This one is common throughout Europe and has plenty of variations. Basically, someone, often a kid, will hand a woman rose and then turn to the man she's with and ask for money. The man then looks bad if he refuses to pay, and it's almost impossible for the woman to hand the rose back. The reason it works so well is that the kids usually only ask for a small amount of money. The guy thinks it's not worth the fight, so they pay up. What month does Italy shut down? In much of Europe, especially Italy and France, cities are partially shut down in July and August, when local urbanites take their beach breaks. You'll hear that these are terrible times to travel, but it's really no big deal. Is Rome expensive? Rome is rightfully at the top of almost every visitor's list. It's no surprise, because it offers so much to experience. Rome is also one of the more expensive cities in Europe, but there are still plenty of ways to cut down on your travel expenses. What is the best month to visit Rome? The best time to visit Rome is from October to April, when most of the tourist crowds have dissipated, and room rates are lower. Although you will need a warm coat, weather this time of year hardly ever dips below freezing. What is the best way to get around Rome? Getting around Rome. The best way to get around Rome is on foot. And because many of the best attractions are clustered together in traffic-free zones, walking makes the most sense. However, some places, like Vatican City, are pretty far from the central historic district, necessitating the use of the metro or a taxi.
Is it expensive to eat out in Rome? The cost of eating out in Rome depends, naturally, on the type of restaurants you plan to visit. However, it is entirely possible to eat well for around €12, approximately $14, a person for pasta, or pizza, and wine or water at a restaurant. Is English spoken in Rome? English is not spoken as widely in Rome, as it is in other European capitals, so locals appreciate it when visitors make an effort to converse in Italian, though a simple "scusi, non parlo italiano, sorry, I don't speak Italian," will work across the board. What is the best time to go to Italy? The best months for traveling in much of Italy are from April to June, and mid-September to October. Temperatures are usually comfortable, rural colors are rich, and the crowds aren't too intense, except around Easter. From July through early September the country's holiday spots teem with visitors. What is the cheapest time to visit Italy? A less crowded, and more budget-friendly time to travel is, from April to May, and mid-September to October. The cheapest airfare is usually found in the lowest tourist periods of the year, running from November 1st to December 14th, and December 24th to March 31st. How much money do I need for 3 days in Rome? Total cost of 3 days in Rome, €32 for accommodation, plus €4 to €16 for attractions, plus €15 to €40 for food, plus €3 for transportation equals €54 to €91 for a day in Rome. Is it safe to walk around Rome at night? Rome is a safe city also by night, and it's not dangerous to walk around even if it is dark. As every big city, try not to seem a tourist, avoid canvassers, and go around with a few money. Admiring the city during the night will ensure you a pleasant and unforgettable vacation. How much money do I need a day in Rome? How much money will you need for your trip to Rome? You should plan to spend around €131, $153 per day on your vacation in Rome, which is the average daily price, based on the expenses of other visitors. Past travelers have spent, on average, €37, $43, on meals for 1 day, and €17, $20, on local transportation.
No menus in the house. When you've been walking around all day, all you want is a big fat bowl of pasta, and a carafe of the house wine. When you finally find a restaurant, choose a spot, and sit down, you might be surprised to hear they've run out of menus. That's okay, you know a few Italian words, so you order something simple. The rub comes when you pay the bill, and find it is about twice what you expected. You can't argue, because you ordered it. So you have to cough up. What to do? If there are no menus in the house, ask to see the prices, or get up and find another restaurant. Also, just as a side note, if you see a little asterisk next to a menu item, it may indicate that it's a frozen packaged meal. Have a look for fine print at the back of the menu. Is gold cheaper in Italy? Italian gold is 18 karat. Most gold jewelry in the US is 14 karat. That alone makes Italian gold significantly more expensive. How far is the Vatican from the Colosseum? 3.6 kilometers. The distance from the Colosseum to St. Peter's Square in the Vatican is 3.6 kilometers. You can get from one point to another by taking bus N64, bus stop near Piazza Venezia, and on the right side from St. Peter's Square, 4 minutes by foot. Name of the bus stop is Cavalleggeri Fornaci. What is the coldest month in Rome? January. Rome's coldest months are January and February. During these 2 months, it rains every couple of days, but some days can be quite pleasant, with high temperatures of 12 degrees Celsius, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. At night, the temperature can reach below freezing. If you don't mind a little bit of cold, Rome is beautiful during winter. What should I see in Rome in 3 days? What to do in Rome in 3 days? Take a tour. Visit the Roman Forum. Climb up on Palatine Hill. Visit the Colosseum. Watch the sunset from Piazza del Campidoglio. Have a cappuccino at Caffè Sant'Eustachio. Visit the Pantheon. Go to Piazza del Popolo. Fake police. In Rome, shops are meant to hand out receipts as a record of tax collection. There are actual real police to check this, but unfortunately, they're often plain-clothed, and some scammers take advantage of this. When you leave a shop, they will ask to see your receipt. They will then tell you there is a problem with it, and give you an on-the-spot fine. What to do? Don't get worried if someone in plainclothes approaches you. Just ask for their badge or identification. You can tell them you want to call the police hotline. To verify their identity, call 113 or 112. Finally, if they insist, say that you will only pay it at a police station. How do you get around Rome cheap? How to get around Rome by public transport. One very cheap ticket or transport card allows you to use almost all means of public transport in Rome, with the exception of taxis and airport transport. Buses, subway trains, trams, streetcars, and light rail are operated by the same company called ATAC. How do I travel around Rome on a budget? 21 cheap Rome tips, including: grab bargain flights to Rome. Keen sightseer. Consider a Roma pass. Beat Colosseum and Vatican queues. Get max euros to the pound. Top 10 free things to do in Rome. Unlimited buffet for the price of a drink. Unlimited bus and metro for €7 a day. Fill up on free water at drinking fountains. Caravaggios, gladiators, Dan Brown sites, and more, all free on certain days. Drink your coffee at the bar to save €4. Service is included in the price when eating out, but you may want to add €1 or 2 on top. How to get to or from the airport? It's €5 by bus. Hostels can be winners bed down in a private room from £22 a night. Apartments can smash hotels, e.g., £400, not £845. Just point your camera to translate Italian menus with a free app. Do you want to pay in pounds or euros? Always say euros. Booking a hotel as well as a flight. Get extra protection with a flight broker. The free European Health Insurance Card, EIC, entitles you to treatment in an EU state-run hospital or GP surgery at the same cost as a local. The extra mobile roaming fees you pay to use your phone in Europe have mostly disappeared in Rome. Munch a Roman picnic in your hotel room. How much is a Big Mac in Rome? The price of combo meal in fast food restaurant, Big Mac meal or similar, in Rome is €8. This average is based on 7 price points. It can be considered reliable and accurate. Does Rome have good nightlife? When it comes to having a good time, the locals in Rome really know how to party. Whether you're into the club scene, innovative cocktails, or simply a laid-back wine bar, where you can share a glass of wine with some friends. What is Rome famous for? What is Rome known for? Rome is known for its stunning architecture, with the Colosseum, Pantheon, and Trevi Fountain as the main attractions. It was the center of the Roman Empire that ruled the European continent for several ages. And you'll find the smallest country in the world in Rome, Vatican City. Can you get your passport stamped at the Vatican? You can't get your passport stamped. Despite being the world's smallest country, visitors won't be able to officially document their visit with a passport stamp, not even for a fee, which some other small states, such as Andorra, offer. What to know before going to the Vatican. Be prepared with the modest attire required to enter the Basilica, Vatican museums, Sistine Chapel, and Vatican gardens. Low-cut or sleeveless shirts, shorts above the knee, mini skirts, and hats are not allowed.
What is the rainy season in Italy? Spring, April and May, and autumn, October, and November, might be rainy, but there are still dry, sunny days. In the winter there are sunny, mild days, but at night, it sometimes gets very cold. July is the hottest month with temperatures from 73 degrees up to 86 degrees. Do I need cash in Rome? Cash. When you travel to Rome, you need to think smart, and use a combination of cash and credit card to meet the local expenses. There are times when cash will be more beneficial than credit, but credit cards can still be used at major retailers and other businesses. How much does it cost to go to the Colosseum? Admission fees for the Colosseum in Rome are as follows. The Colosseum tickets for adults cost €12. There is a reduced fee for EU citizens aged between 18 and 25. Teenagers, and children under 18, as well as handicapped persons, and their assistant are free. What are the bad areas of Rome? The following are all dangerous neighborhoods in Rome, to avoid not only to sleep but if it's possible even in the daylight, unless you know someone that lives there, and can take care of you. Esquilino, San Basilio, Corviale, Trullo, Centocelle, Tor Pignatara, Torre Angela, and Tor Bella Monica. How bad are pickpockets in Rome? Is pickpocketing bad in Rome? We're not going to lie, Roman pickpockets are skillful, and tourists are usually their target. However, by taking the right precautions, Rome can be a very safe city for tourists.
Is Italy known for gold? According to goldprice.org, Italy is well known for its yellow gold jewelry and classical designs. Italy is a powerhouse in the European jewelry industry. Because of the tradition and beauty associated with gold from Italy, jewelry from this nation is highly prized. Do you tip waiters in Italy? Waiters in restaurants. Italians will tell you they only tip on truly exceptional service, or when dining in the finest restaurants, and even then it is usually just an extra 10 to 15%, or often simply the change left over from the bill. What can you not eat in Italy? Things tourists should never eat in Italy. Eating chicken with pasta. Serving everything on the same plate. Ketchup. Drinking a cappuccino after a meal. Asking for non-Italian dishes. Sprinkling parmesan on everything. Dipping bread into oil and balsamic vinegar. Drinking anything other than water or wine with food. How long does it take to walk from the Colosseum to the Vatican? An hour and a half is just fine to have lunch and get over to the Vatican without worrying about missing the tour. It's about 2.5 miles to walk from the Colosseum to the Vatican. I wouldn't do it considering that you also want to have some time for lunch. You can take the metro or take a taxi to save time. What do you eat for breakfast in Rome? A typical breakfast for a Roman looks like a quick coffee and a pastry, eaten standing at the bar. A frothy cappuccino and a warm cornetto is the most common combination. Italian cornetti are sweeter than French croissants, and come vuoto, plain, or filled with jam, custard or Nutella. Does it ever snow in Rome? Snow in Rome is rare. It last really fell here in 2012, after a hiatus of nearly 30 years. On Monday, the city awakened under a layer of snow 1.5 to 6 inches, 4 to 15 centimeters, deep, depending on the neighborhood. Can I visit the Vatican on Sunday? The Vatican is Rome's most popular tourist destination, and is pretty much always busy. The Vatican museums are closed Sundays, except for the last Sunday of every month, when they are free. This is the most crowded day, you can imagine for visiting the Vatican museums. Is Rome safe for solo female travelers? Overall, Rome is a very safe place to visit as a solo female traveler. Exploring Rome alone should be a life-enhancing experience, visiting incredible monuments, gazing at beautiful works of art, and meeting the kindest, funniest local characters. How much is an average meal in Italy? Dine like an Italian. A meal at an inexpensive restaurant, for one person, is usually around $18 to $20, whereas a meal for two people at a mid-range restaurant, with drinks, will typically cost around $70 to $80. How far is Pompeii from Rome? 150 miles. Pompeii is 150 miles south of Rome, fairly close to Naples, and well within a long day trip from your hotel in Rome. There are tours from Rome to Pompeii, but for those who are independently minded and don't get along with organized tours, visiting by train is very straightforward and a good experience. How far is Venice from Rome? 330 miles. Traveling by train in Italy from Rome to Venice is as scenic as it is convenient. The distance from Rome to Venice is 330 miles. Some high-speed trains make this journey in just 3 hours and 45 minutes, while slower trains can take up to 6 hours. Can you use American money in Italy? It's an excellent idea to carry euros with you during your trip. Big tourist locations and hotels will often accept credit cards, and sometimes even US dollars. Plus, while some places may accept US currency, they're likely to give you poor exchange rates. How much is a US dollar worth in euros? Is it safe to visit Rome 2020? Overall, locals tell us that Rome is a safe place to visit. In fact, Rome is one of the safest Italian cities to visit, with a lower rate of theft complaints than Milan, Bologna, and Florence. But Rome is a big city. And it's a well-known tourist destination, which means visitors should take certain precautions. What is considered rude in Italy? And please, do not burp or fart in public, it is considered extremely rude. Also, loud swearing and drinking alcohol from a bottle while walking the street is frowned upon. Most Italians like some alcohol, but usually avoid to get drunk. Public scenes of drunkenness are much less tolerated than in other countries. How do you eat in Rome? Our top 7 tips on how to eat like a local in Rome. Never have cappuccino with a meal. Get your pizza for lunch by the slice. Don't dine too early, Romans show up late. Take time to enjoy your food. Stay away from the tourist traps. You don't have to order a 5-course meal. Trattorias, osterias and ristorantes are not the same. How do Italians eat pizza? Don't hesitate. Pick up your knife and fork as soon as the piping hot pizza is delivered to your table. Get triangular. Slice a triangular slice of pizza, if it hasn't been pre-cut for you. Cut and bite. Cut off the point end of that slice, and transfer it to your mouth. Pick it up. Repeat.